Okay, I was not expecting that, but that's okay. Hi everyone, my name is Mizan, and first I want to thank you all for coming and for the amazing people who were able to put on this event today. So my type 1 story. I was diagnosed on August 24th, 2015, and until that day, I had never heard of type 1. I was very blessed to have two amazing doctors in the medicine world, but even this was brand new for them. One of my first memories of my type 1 journey was Rufus. For those of you who don't know, Rufus is a small bear provided by JDRF. The first thing you'll notice about Rufus is the many colorful patches he has. When I first saw these patches, I realized how much type 1 is going to affect my body. These patches represent the many areas a diabetic can insert syringes, CGMs, or an insulin pump. Before I did my first insulin injection, I used Rufus. It provided me comfort in knowing how this process would be like. After I was diagnosed, my parents took me to a local park where I had my weekly soccer games and practices. We sat in silence for a little, until they introduced me to a rule that I now use daily in my life. When life throws you an obstacle, you take a day to sulk, and then the next day you deal with it. I was so scared that I wouldn't be able to play the sports I loved, do the activities that brought me joy, or even live a normal childhood. What frightened me the most was the thought that I would stick out from kids my age. I decided that if no one else could see that I was type 1, no one knew that I was type 1. Until the pandemic, I was able to stick with this. Only the absolute minimum amount of teachers, parents, families, and friends knew. It all changed though during the months of quarantine. Because of COVID, I found my support system of friends, families, coaches, doctors, and teachers. I communicated with my friends, who can now recognize the difference in a tired Mizan and a low-sugar Mizan. My coaches have ready juice boxes at the end of the cross-country meets, and goo chomps for me as I run the course. Realizing the endless support I had pushed me to represent type 1 and be proud of the person that it made me. I decided the best way for me to advocate was through JDRF. Growing up, I was lucky to not have to worry about the cost of insulin, but my parents made me aware in knowing that this was not the case for everybody. This was even more evident as I met voters who supported the decrease in insulin prices. JDRF helps to advocate for those who cannot, and JDRF also fundraises to help find a cure. I was able to do research this summer with Dr. Corenton, where I saw the amount of functioning and non-functioning insulin cells in a pancreas. Seeing one of the many ways type 1 can affect my body, it pushed me even harder to help those who cannot. Research is about hope and finding long-term solutions. And with JDRF, I was able to work in a group with kids with similar interests and ages while all having type 1, making me feel like I was part of a community. With JDRF, I was able to find my voice and help new diabetics find theirs as well. As I found my voice, I recognized how many people had type 1 or knew someone who had it. It was no longer just me, but 8.7 million others as well. Although type 1 changed my routine of life, it didn't change what I can do in life. I continue to participate in the sports I love, whether it's running cross country, playing basketball, or playing soccer. I was also able to play basketball with players who also had Dexcoms on their arms. Just another reminder that I wasn't alone. I can now proudly wear my Dexcom to my arm or give myself insulin in the middle of class. If you were to ask me to sum up my type 1 journey in 5 words, I would say trust, discipline, community, confidence, and advocacy. Trusting those who can support me when my sugars are low or high, disciplining myself to change my pump every 3 days or eating something 15 minutes before I play. Having a community of people I can relate to. Having confidence that type 1 doesn't stop me from doing anything I love, especially sports. And advocating using my voice to elevate those who cannot. I'm grateful for the growing community type 1 has given me and the confidence it has granted me. Thank you to my parents for ensuring me I have enough supplies. Thank you to my brothers Nazar and Zachar for pushing me to not let type 1 define me. And thank you to my friends, especially Izzy and Sophia, for supporting me in whatever I need. And most importantly, thank you April and JDRF for being the community I never thought I would have. And thank you all for having me.